to bare metal, as you can see there. I did that with a wire brush on a drill, and I've done the other side as well. So I'll bring the light round so you can see, hopefully you can see that. So I've just put this piece of cardboard the same size as the hole, and what I can do now is give that a spray. So it'll just be a light coating of primer. It's black, but it's a light coating of it. And then I'll put loads of copper slip in it when I actually fit them up. So just give it a quick. There we go. There shouldn't be any overspray on there, is there? Okay, let me go around this side. There we go. A little bit there. Okay, that should be good. So, I'll take that off. I'll let it dry up a little bit before I pull it off in case it marks the paint. So I've got the new radius arms today, and you can see there's the poly bushings inside. I'll bring this one up, you can see the difference. See the rubber and the poly bushing, and the same on the bottom end. You see it there, poly. So what I'm going to do now, I'll keep these old ones. What I'm going to do now is now I've done the swivel where the large radius bushing goes. What I'm going to do is actually attach them to the back of the IRS. So when you go to put these in, you actually need the weight on the car to get them in place. Trying to do it up in the air, you'll never get them in. You need to pull them along. So the best way to do it is to fit it all up, leave the large end off, just have the back end in, obviously, so you can put your rear hub carriers back on, bolt it all back up, and then what you can do then is, if you leave this bolt slightly loose so you can move this up and down, you can then bring it up, and then you can use a tie strap to pull it all forward or move on the car. What they've also done, the difference here as well is slightly different. You can see they put a very slight taper on the edge there. I don't know if that will show up or not. There's a very, very slight taper there, because getting over that initial cup is quite difficult. This will allow it to slide in a bit easier, I would imagine. If you look at the original ones, the rubber ones, you can see it's just a solid piece on the edge. So you've got to catch the edge to get it to go in, whereas that might go on. I would imagine this is why they've done it. They've done that little taper there, just so you can get it over that hump and then get it in place. Once it's in place, it centralizes itself, so there's no problem. So I'm going to fit these in now, and then I'll show you. But they'll be left hanging until the whole car's back together, and the last thing to be done will be to pull them, get them in place, and then rebolt them up, put on the tabs, and then not wire them. So I'm going to put them together now, and then I'll start building up the rest of the car. Okay, so I put the hub carrier back on. You can actually fit this drive shaft in with a hub carrier down this way, or you can actually lift the hub carrier and try and put it on straight. But one of the most important things, you need to make sure that these splines are absolutely perfect. There's no little burrs or anything on them. It's extremely difficult to get together. Any little burr on there will stop it going in, because it is a precision fit. So one of the first things I have to do is, now I have to put on this bevel dish spacer, which fits up against here. So what I'll do is just to get a bit of grease on that, and what that will do is it will just hold it in place when I put it on. So this has to go on first, up against that drive shaft. This is the original ring that was in it, the spacer ring, and this is a 0.134, and now I have a 0.142 in it. So this is the larger of the two, so I'll put that on now, and again, hopefully it'll stop it from coming off. Just a bit of grease on it, just on that surface to stop it coming off. And that's, you can see there, so I'll just grease that up. So that should all sit together. As I said, this is the old one. And just to confirm that, I'll just check it. You can see it's the old one anyway, but I'll check it just to make sure. Yeah. Okay, so I've put the hub carrier on. What I actually did was I basically suspended the drive shaft from that top bump stop, and then offered the hub up, and so I could get it in straight, because the splines need to be, because they're such a tolerance fit, they need to be right on. You can easily damage the end of the spline, so you have to be very, very careful you don't damage them in any way, or they will not go in. And just make sure you lubricate them. And then I offered it down onto this bolt position for this fulcrum bolt. It just seemed to be easy. You can see I've got this is in the right position. I'll just put this through, so you can see I can actually still pull this down. I won't pull it all the way up, because obviously the shaft will come out, so I can push that back now, offer up the spacer washer, and then the castellated nut. And I can time it so it can't come forward. Okay, that's not going to, even though I let it go, that's not going to come off. So what I can now do is tighten it up, put the right torque on it. You'll see it move forward as I left it on the shaft. So what I'll do now is I'll torque this up and see where the next hole comes to for the split pin to go through, and then I'll put the split pins in. Basically what I want to do is, now I've got this back together, I need to put it on its wheels, because I need all the weight onto the IRS to allow these to come up into place. As you can see, they're slightly tilted down, because if you try to lift these back wheels underneath and have the arms straight like this instead of like that, then you can't get the wheels off. The hutches are too tight to actually get the wheel off. It needs to be hanging down, and the same on the front. It has to be hanging down for you to get the wheel off these spinners. So that's what I'll do now, and then I can actually start putting it all back together. But that's the hard bit. It's a very heavy item, this bearing carrier and the drive shaft. Trying to hold it up and get it in the right position. You really could do with two people, or do what I did and just use a double. I just basically used a double one like that together, and then hooked it through and round onto the drive shaft, and then just cut it afterwards. It's a way of holding it up. At least it gives you some less weight to hold. So what I'll do now is I'll get this torqued up, get the split pin in it, and then I can put the wheel on and just check the end float on the other side is spot on, so it should be the same this side. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop the ramp down onto, so it's on its tyres, and you should see these straighten up. You see how they're at an angle now, and they should straighten. So I'll drop the ramp, I'll drop the pitch jack, and hopefully now you can see they're kind of straightened up again now. So the problem is now is if I'll pull the camera onto this one so you can see it better. Excuse my bad photography. But you can see there now, if I lift that up, this obviously this one at the back is not tight yet, but you can see that it's quite away from going on, the cup going on. So what you need to do now is pull the back of the IRS, this bottom wishbone, you need to pull it forward to just get it over the system. Obviously the anti-roll bar is off, but I need to basically tilt the cage forward, the whole IRS cage forward to get it on. You can see it's catching right about there, right just before it hits. This is why they put this bevel on it. So what I have to do now, as I say, is put some straps, some tie-down straps, and tighten it up onto the front, and then wrench on it until I get this in place, and then I can put the bolt through. Okay, so what I've done is I've got these come along straps. They're through the bottom A-frame on the front suspension and around the back of the bottom wishbone. And you can see here, obviously the back ones are loose here, but if I lift that up, you can see it won't go on. So what I need to do is tighten these up. These come along. And that'll pull. There you go, and she's in. So you can see. And obviously need to do the same on the other, so this one's loose. So I'll tighten this one up here. Turn out the light. So you can see it here. Again, won't fit. Just give it a little pull. There you go, that's just in. And I can actually get the bolt in there. It goes in quite easy because there's quite a lot of movement. Obviously I've got to put the strap on first and line it up. And there you go. So what I'll do now, I've got them loose. I'll put the copper in here, copper on there. Same on both sides. And get it all put back together. And then that's the rods in. So a couple of straps, don't have to be massively tight, but enough just to pull it forward. If you don't have these straps or ropes or whatever, what you can do is use the jack to kind of tilt the IRS, or get somebody in the back to put some weight into the boot without damaging it, of course. And then what that'll do is it'll lift them up into place. But like I said, these new ones have got this very slight taper on them, which makes it even easier to get them on. So I'll get it all greased up now and put them on. And in the next video, I'll do the wiring. I'll show you how to do the safety wiring. You could do it, you could twist it if you don't have the special tool. But I'll go through all that, get everything set up, because we've got to clean the car up, we've got to do this welding here, a few other bits and pieces. There's some interior parts to do as well. And so I'll make that the next video. So on that note, as I said, it's you can see quite clearly there. If I was to release this now, it would probably jump out. But obviously once it's under pressure and it's bolted, it's perfect. And I just really think these poly bushes are going to make a big difference. Hopefully I'll never have to change in my ownership. Anyway, so on that note, I'll say stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby. And I think Amir is back on Wednesday night, so Thursday morning we can do some more work on the car, get some of the other bits done. But I've got it all back together basically. It's just I need him for fire watching, or a bit of welding, a bit of fire watching, and there's a couple of other things to do, so I'll get that done. So take care.